In this final video for topic 11, we're going to kind of talk about this notion of motivations to stick out or motivations to fit in, which clearly have cultural differences. So, clearly, in more collectivistic or interdependent contexts, a sense of fitting in and belonging to others is very, very important. And so, you find an Asian adage that says the nail that sticks up will be pounded back down, which is a pretty powerful idea. And if you do things to set yourself apart and somehow make yourself special or different, society will punish that. They will not, in fact, reward that kind of self expression. But clearly, from a Western perspective, a somewhat analogous adage might be the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you want to be successful, you need to be the one that makes a noise. You need to be the one that stands out. Otherwise, you will never be successful. And so perhaps you're familiar with the Solomon Asch conformity study. I won't get into a huge amount of details. If you're interested, there's all kinds of materials about Solomon Asch. But the key is it was a study on conformity. And what happened is in American samples, they've got five people that all are saying something that is blatantly wrong. And then you've got a sixth person being asked, what's the truth? And what happens is on about 25% of the trials, that person gives the wrong answer, even though it's just blatantly obvious. There's no question it's the wrong answer. When they replicated this study in an Asian sample, instead of being about a quarter of participant was three quarters. Okay. Oh, most Americans did three quarters, but whatever. So there was much, much, much more conformity in the, I want to say 25% of the time, three quarters of the participants eventually did show some conformity. That's what it was. But quite a powerful difference here that, even in the face of just absolutely wrong, there's no question it's wrong. It's not a subjective question. And yet, right along with it, roll through. Here's Kim and Marcus, Hazel Marcus and probably Hedron Kim, and they simply asked them, which is the more attractive shape? And East Asian participants were more likely to say the square was, whereas the Euro-American sample was much more likely to say that diamond was. So the one that sticks out is more attractive to the Western sample. The one that is the same as most of the others is what was attractive to the East Asian group. Here they had people do, they completed a survey and they said, here, have a pen as a reward for taking the survey. Right? And when presented with this combination of pens, the American sample, as you can imagine, picked the green one, and the East Asian sample, as you can guess, tended to pick the red one. And I mean, obviously, it switches. If you had four green and one red, then the Americans always want the one that's different, the minority colored pen. Huh? And we can see this in even in advertising that there's these motivations to stick in, stick out, right? Look at two different advertisements for tobacco. Here on the left is an American advertisement for Virginia Slims, and their motto is always, "You've come a long way, baby," and that it was kind of a sexist thing, but they were advertising to women, and they were saying, look, if you smoke our cigarettes, you're going to stick out, you're going to be different, you're going to be powerful, you're going to be strong, people are going to respect you. You see on the right, here's a presumably Chinese advertisement for cigarettes, and it's emphasizing more of a social nature and how you blend in together if you smoke. They looked at themes in Korean and American advertising, and it turned out that American advertising was much more likely to advertise uniqueness, whereas South Korean advertising was much more likely to emphasize how their product will let you fit in with everybody else. So we find this thing is pretty powerful. So in an interdependent context, fitting in is a very expensive thing. People that do not fit in easily get ostracized. Okay, motivations for uniqueness show how one is different and not dependent upon others. So clearly, this is pronounced in more of an independent context.